Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to What's New August 2022 in Azure Data Factory. We're really excited that you're able to join us today. We've got a lot of really exciting content to show you. So yeah, let's get started. First off, what we'd like to do is share some exciting news on a milestone that we recently hit. And we wanted to thank you all so much for supporting us, for providing feedback, for asking for content. We actually just hit 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube. And all of this is possible because of you, our community. We love sharing videos and tutorials that help you. So keep leaving us feedback, keep asking us for more videos, and we're happy to share that with you. But thank you for supporting us. We would not have made it to this point without you. Cool. Let's get started with what's new then. So, as you know, we do have our What's New blog. As you can see, it's right here. Every month, we will be adding our monthly update. So here, Azure Data Factory, August 2022 monthly update. If you click on this, you will be able to see all the updates that we have for the past month. We also have a link here to our What's New page, which we'll see in just a minute. But we're iterating on our blog, so if you have any feedback, please let us know. Now we've added our doc links in the table of contents, so if you don't have time to read through the entire blog, you can go ahead and just click the documentation link and find information rather quickly instead of having to read through the entire blog. If you want to get updates on anything that we post, not just the monthly update, make sure to click subscribe at the top of the Azure Data Factory blog. This will allow you to get notifications whenever we post any new blog. So as you can see, we've got a lot of awesome updates and announcements that happen every month. So if you want to stay up to date on that, make sure to subscribe. So let's see what is new in August 2022. So first off, we got some data flow updates. We've added a preview connector for app figures as an inline source. So this is a new REST-based connector in mapping data flows. We've also added a new transformation. It's called the cast transformation. This will allow you to visually convert your data types. So instead of having to use derived columns, you can now do this rather quickly and visually. We've also we've updated the UI for inline data sets. So we're going to see this in a second, but we've got categories that allow you to easily find your data sources. This is something that you may have seen in our preview experience, but we are now moving it to the default. As for data movement, for blob storage, we added a new authentication type. So you can now use service principals to authenticate. For CI/CD, we've introduced this new thing where you can exclude triggers that didn't change in deployments. So instead of turning off all triggers, it only includes the ones that have changed. For developer productivity, you might have seen this, but the default activity timeout has been changed from 7 days to 12 hours. I know we've heard from many people that 7 days was way too long. So after hearing all your feedback, we've changed this to 12 hours. This will adjust for any new activities that you've added. If you have existing activities, you might have to go back and update that manually. But for anything new, that should automatically be changed. As for the expression builder UI and pipeline experience, we've also updated this with categorical tabs. So this should help you navigate your pipeline designing a little bit easier. So with the category tabs, you'll be able to find your variables, your pipeline parameters, everything a little bit more quickly. And we've also introduced the new data factory creation experience, which we'll walk through real quickly in a little bit. This allows you to have your data factory ready within seconds with just one click, either to switch to a different factory or to create a new one. So this is really awesome, and we think that it will be very helpful to everyone, especially if you're new to data factory or even if you are an existing user. Cool. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as we go along. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see in future live streams or in this live stream, drop a comment. Awesome. So let's do some demos. So what I first wanted to show you all is that we have the new inline connector. So if you take a look here, as you can see also our dataset types are also in new categories. So we've got your Azure sources, your database sources, your file sources, and this will just help you find what you're looking for a little bit more quickly, or you can just filter to find it. So as you can see down here for services and apps, we've got a bunch of new preview connectors. So last month we talked about Asana. We've also got app figures now. Cool. Now let's take a look at the cast transformation. So this is really awesome. It allows you to transform your data types without having to come up with any like expressions, having to remember any syntax or anything. So what I can show you here is I've got a movie data set. And I'm just fetching that data. And what I'm going to be doing is just selecting a few columns so that we can see everything a little bit more easily. So as you can see, we've got a lot of columns here. And so with my select, I'm only choosing a few columns to take a look at. And so as you can see up here, we can see our data types. So name, rating, genre, these are all strings. And yeah. So what I'm actually going to do now is use my cast transformation to change some of those. So for example, I've got year here, and I want to change that to a string. Or I've got my budget, which is a string, and I want to change that to a double. And I'm going to show you something that's really awesome, which is the assert type check. So this allows you to add an assert so that if there are any rows where casting is failing, it'll show a little red X to let you know that something went wrong. So if you take a look here, my ratings are all strings, R, PG, etc. They're not ratings like 4 out of 5 stars or anything. But if I cast and I try to change that to a double, you'll see that we get a bunch of errors. So we'll refresh this. And as you can see, year has now been casted into a string. My budget has now been casted into a double type. And take a look at my rating here. Because it was a string, it can't convert. So now we've got all these little red X's next to all the rows because for each row, it was not able to cast correctly. So that's just a really great way to be able to validate your data. or validate your transformations. So yeah, cast transformation, super simple, super easy, makes it a lot easier for you to transform your data types without having to create a derived column. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, cool. Now I'm really excited to show you the new one-click data factory setup. So we're going to go to adf.azure.com, and this is the landing page for this new experience. Just have to sign into my account real quick. Cool. And so since I have an account, the default lands me on an existing data factory. So as you can see before, I was on my Noel demo data factory. And so it lands me directly there so I can continue and go straight into that data factory, or I can create a new data factory. This is so easy. It auto-populates a name. You can obviously go back and change this if you'd like. You can choose your location. We've got all these different regions down here, so choose whichever works best for you. And then you can choose your subscription. This is my subscription, so there are no other subscriptions for me to choose. And if I click create, it creates it for me. And once it's done, I land directly into my new data factory. Super easy, super painless. You don't have to go through the portal. The caveat is that you do need to have a subscription in order to do this. But once you've got that all set up, it's super easy to get into your data factory. And now I've got a completely new one. I can get started, create a new pipeline, new data flow, set connections to new data sets. And yeah, if you want to switch data factory, it's super easy as well. And you can do that here. And you can choose and you can switch. And it's super easy to get back to an existing data factory. So we hope that this is something that simplifies some of your data factory creation processes, or makes it easier for you to switch in between your data factories. Super quick and simple, without having to navigate through the Azure portal and going through all your different resources. Now you can just do everything with a couple clicks and you're right there where you need to be. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. Something that I also want to keep pointing out to you all is that we do have announcements when we have new releases. So make sure to check on our updates to find everything that is latest and greatest. So you'll see the date that we had the release notes for and documentation links. So make sure to keep up to date by checking these. So the last thing that I wanted to share with you all today is something that people have been asking for a little bit, is how to get started with connecting to a repository. So if you haven't really done this before, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough. It's super simple. You can follow along if you'd like, if this isn't set up for you yet. So if you navigate to manage and you go under source control, we have a section called Get Configuration. And so here you can connect to your workspace with just a few clicks. And of course, if you have any more questions or want to learn more about best practices, we do have documentation on CI/CD. And if you click on this link, you can go ahead and click. It'll open up to a new tab that will show you some of the best practices that we've gathered. So to get started, all you do is click Configure. Yeah, I can disrupt changes. if you have important things, you should probably save before you start this process, but I didn't have anything important to save. So now you can choose your repository type. So you can either do Azure DevOps Git or you can do GitHub. I'm going to show you how to set it up with Azure DevOps Git, but the process is fairly similar. You'll need your Azure Active Directory. This usually auto-populates. So this is my demo tenant, so just continue. And then I can select a repository, or if you have a repository link, you can choose that instead. In my Azure DevOps, I already have an organization set up, so it's Noel ADF POC test. Then you can choose your project name. I only have one project, but if you have multiple, you can select which ones that you want to choose. You can choose your repository name. I've already got one set up, which is ADF POC, but you can go and update yours or make a new one if you'd like. And now all we have to do is set our collaboration branch and our publish branch. So I'm going to call our collaboration branch master. So if you also have any questions about anything, we do have these helpful tooltips that tell you what each section is. So our collaboration branch is where you collaborate with others and from which you will publish. So for us, this is the master branch, right? And then you've got the publish branch, which is a branch in your repository where publishing related ARM templates are stored and updated. So for me, I'm going to call this ADF publish. And then if you have a root folder, you can choose to update that. I don't, so I'm going to leave it blank. And if you want to import your existing resources into the repository, you can click that. So I have existing resources, as you can see before. I had a bunch of data flows and pipelines. So I'm going to want to import those. And you can also specify which branch you want to, which one you want to import into. So I'm going to choose my collab branch. This is one I've already set up before, but you can choose if you want to, if you're setting up your main or your master branch, you can also choose that. And then all you have to do is hit apply. And give it a second. And if it's successful, it'll say repo connected. And now you can see all of the settings that you've just applied. Now it's super easy. Whenever you want to make changes, say, let's do this. I'm going to choose a data set. Limited text. Choose my linked service. I can just save all, and it'll save it to whichever branch I'm using. I shouldn't have done it to the master branch. Should have done to my collab branch. Oops, sorry guys. And if you wanted to create like a new branch that you're working off of, say you're developing a new pipeline, you can easily click new branch. You can base it off an existing branch, and you can rename this. So this will be my new branch. And when you create it, it'll load and it'll set it up for you. Sorry, I accidentally clicked it like a bunch. So now you can see here, I'm in my new branch. And when you're ready to create a PR, you can click here, create a pull request, and it'll take you to be able to do that. Cool. This just makes it really easy for source control and for you to do saving without having to publish all the time. And it's really great for collaboration as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, of course, drop it in the chat. Hopefully this is a little bit easier for you to follow along if you're just getting started with CI/CD. I'll include some links in the description once this is over so that you can have some more reading material. But hopefully this will get you started. Awesome. So one last thing that I wanted to point out before we end today's live stream, we've got some really cool things coming down the line. Something I wanted to share with you before we go is that we do have some new community resources that we want to be sharing out with everyone. So we're going to be sharing this out with everyone shortly, but here's a sneak preview. These are just some community resources that you can use to get started with ADF. So to get like updates, you can follow us on Twitter, read and comment on our blog, subscribe to our YouTube, and vote for ideas on our ideas page if you have any feedback. We have links to our product pages where you can ask questions and some learning and quick starts for you to get started. Last thing I do want to share out with you is, earlier I had thanked you all for supporting us and helping us reach 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we're really excited about this milestone, and we wanted to kickstart a fun little like raffle-esque thing with our community. So we're going to be sharing out a video sometime tomorrow. Just a thank you from our entire team for all your support. But if you all would love to share what your favorite things about ADF are, or what you love about the ADF community through social media, so on YouTube or Twitter, we're going to include a hashtag that you can include in those. And we are going to choose randomly from those posts some winners to get some swag. Again, like we appreciate your support, we appreciate your feedback, and this is our way of thanking you, and also wanting to hear a little bit more about you and how you use ADF and how you rely on the community, or maybe you are a community poster. We'd love to hear from you and share some swag with you if you are able to share that information with us and the rest of the community. Yeah, and I see we've got some questions, so let me take a look. How to include global parameters in the ARM template. Yeah, so if you go to Manage and go to ARM template, super simple. You just have to click this button. So here, there's a little tooltip for you to take a look at that. So this allows you to include global parameters in your ARM template. So if you want to, all you have to do is click, and that's about it. So super simple, super easy for you. Can you import from Git? Yes. So, or actually, I'm not sure yet. I think right now it's just, we have the Azure DevOps Git and GitHub. So those are the only two options that we have as of now. Let's see, what's the difference between inline and dataset? Oh, let me take you back to our data flow. So you can see that we have two different source types. So if you choose dataset, you can actually create a connection to a specific dataset. So here, let's say this is my movies file. And it's my link service. First row is header. And Now I choose a specific data set. And so now my connection is specific to that data set. So if you want to do a data preview, you'll see it's the data set. Now, if you want to do inline, you can choose a link service type. So, or you'll choose your data set type. So you can choose what type is. So most of my files are delimited text files, and you choose a linked service. And now you have the option to choose what the file path is. So it's a connection to one of your linked services, and it's not specific to a data set. You can just switch these out if you would like to. So I can now connect to like a PII data set. Or if I wanted to switch it to something else, I can easily go back to source options and browse my link service and choose something else. So I can go into taxi cab data, okay, or something like that. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Awesome. If you have any other questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them following the live stream since we are coming to a close. But thank you all for joining. Again, if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what else you'd like to see in the future. If you found this helpful, let us know, or if there was something that you thought we could improve on. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, and just like, subscribe, share, and keep an eye out for a fun announcement tomorrow about our giveaway. So thank you all for joining, and we will see you next month.